Guildballing for my YouTube video. You're joined by me, Jay.
And me, Chris.
And this is episode 4.
Episode
4 of On the Ball.
Hello, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you for watching. Apologies for not being here last week. And a big thank you to James of GBHL Podcast and Hotgates Gaming for stepping in and making sure that it wasn't just Chris, because that would bore the tears out of all of us. So, cheers, James. Much appreciated. And we are back for episode 4. Right. Thank you all for getting behind this series. We have 13 questions this week, and it's a bit of an appeal. If you guys could really push, I see a lot of you are watching it, and I hope enjoying the video, and we really want this to be a bit of a watch while you paint sort of video, something while you're just getting your hobby time in, something to listen to in the background, which is what I do when I'm painting. So if you guys are watching it, please get involved and get a question in the comments, and we can keep this series going without having to badger people on Facebook to ask questions, because we think once this gains a bit of momentum, see what I did there? It will be a very good show. So without further ado, should we start?
Let's do
you
it.
Want to read the first question?
So the first question today is from friend of the show, Chris Rutter.
Friend of the show, Chris Rutter.
From WCWW. He's referring to mine and James's comments at the end of the last show about how, well, and ours, the show before, how we want match reports to be recorded.
Yep.
So he's said that he likes sort of static fixed camera angle, like Chain Attack do, played back at high speed with players discussing what they did after the fact. So sort of doing
it's definitely worth a try.
See how that goes.
Spoiler, although not spoiler because it should have been done by the time this is out. Jamie of Guildball TV fame, Jamie Giblin, plans on recording a few of the top table games this weekend, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to try it for Guildball TV. So
we do that and speed them up.
I'm not sure about speeding them up, but effectively just comment over them. So we're going to give that a whirl.
Yeah, bleep out the swear word.
Yeah, a little bit. But yeah, it's a good idea. We can definitely try that. I am personally agreed in that it needs to be a static fixed camera. But I believe James, who you saw last week on The Ball, was down here last night and he recorded his game with Quinn in very much more of a traditional battle report style. So that will be interesting to see. I'm sure you'll see that on Hotgates Gaming soon.
I think it'd be quite good to get sort of a range of different styles out there.
Yeah, and I'm willing to try them all and get you guys input on which you like best. I mean, my original idea was effectively the standard sort of battle reports you see with the moving camera showing you the models and focusing on what's going on. And then, rather optimistic, I wanted a second fixed camera on screen, but just the logistics of that become a little bit...
And the editing would be...
And it's sort of, yes, we could do that, but do you only want a battle report every 2 months, sort of thing? Because we both have jobs and lives and kids and hobby addictions, so it's not our editing time is effectively out of our free time. So we're going to try everything we can. Hopefully between us and you guys giving us feedback, we'll find a good balance.
And he's got a question. What happened that we're not going to talk about?
Go on.
It seems that Butchers have a number of playbook results equal to their TAC. Brewers have one fewer playbook results than their TAC. Is that a massive difference, and which is the better way around? So I know Chris has started playing Brewers. He's just finished painting his up, a grey sort of set. That did really, the first time I seriously looked at Butcher's cards and stats, I was always under the impression until then that everybody's sort of TAC matched their number of playbook columns. So it was a real surprise for me to see that they have one less. So it's much easier for them to get wraps. And it's
a huge difference.
It is a huge difference.
It's massive, and it's a huge difference in favour of you. If you can have that, effectively you're wrapping
being able to pick two results.
Yeah, and I mean if you're hitting your 2+ guys when most of your dice are going to hit, you could potentially wrap off an attack on a good day. With crowding out and stuff. Yeah, exactly. So yes, that is huge.
And gaining 2 momentum. From one hit.
Exactly.
So it's fantastic.
Yeah. At other situations, it gives you the opportunity to do the tackle and the dodge to get out of melee, or there's loads of options for it. But if you Brewers, amazing. I think it's one of their key strengths. I think they were designed with that in mind.
One of their sticks.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Friday's disgusting with it.
Friday's
TAC 4 with three on a playbook, so if she's charging, she's got 8 die.
Would you like some Guild Ball trivia?
Trivia? Go on then.
Do you know the well-used expression momentum vending machine?
I do, yeah.
Come from this guy here.
Well, so
and do you know where it came from?
So people
from
have said,
Scum.
Okay.
Scum was my... If you watch Meet the Brewers, you'll see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And no one ever used it before then?
No.
Okay.
I've got the copyright. It's
no.
Scum for me is a momentum vending machine, and it's all down to how easy Scum wraps.
Is momentum vending machine referred to for the big 2+ guys rather than the person actually gaining the momentum?
Both ways, man.
There you go. So like Fangtooth used to be.
We don't discriminate on this channel, however you want. But yeah, so being able to wrap easier is always a very good
So are
thing.
there any other teams that have less? I know there's a couple of odd players that do.
I think the Brewers have it as sort of a thing built throughout the team. I think all of them bar one. Is it? It's either Tapper or Hooper. There's one who is the same tack as Playbook. The rest are
Tapper,
one less. I think there's the odd player.
And they have a lot of buffs like Commanding Aura, and they're whoever has it, when someone's knocked down, you get plus two tack. So they have some real decent chances of wrapping.
Brewers are grim. When Brewers are used, and the thing is, because of all these little buffs and reasons, Brewers are one of the harder teams to put Union in.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think they are an amazing pure team. They're one of the best. Them and the Butchers, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
thanks for the question, Chris. That's it.
Yep. Cheers, Chris. Thank you for the question. We're working off the phone today. We're not quite as bred. Bombshell. We are here today, and why are we here today?
We are here today to set up for tomorrow.
And what is tomorrow, Chris?
Tomorrow is the Skaldic.
It's the Skaldic Shield. So we have 30 plus players coming down tomorrow for a Guild Ball sanctioned event and a pure Guild event the day after. And if you guys are thinking about a tournament, please come to One Suit because they are great.
They are amazing. So yeah, we'll have some people dripping in throughout the afternoon.
A lot of people who are travelling. We've got the Battle Hammer coming today. Is Stephen Jack coming today? Chris can't make it anymore. But we've got loads of people coming with some casual games today. Grab some food later.
Sam Page, is he?
Sam Page is coming. Yep, of Mid-66 Wargamers. It's going to be good fun. We've got 3 days effectively of Guild Ball fun. Anyway, I digress. The next question is from the Battle Hammer, and it's actually from the Battle Hammer as opposed to one of. We always get them wrong as well. We're going to have to learn.
I think that's Darren.
Okay, well,
my dad.
Hello, maybe Darren / Chris's dad. It's East Anglia, you buggers. Kick it in the goal. Sing it, Chris. You know you want to.
I think we referred to them being in the Midlands in the last show, I think, but it's East Anglia.
It's not. Oh.
Yeah. Just you've got fat fingers.
No, it's not.
Well,
technical issues, but I've tried to get Chris to sing this, and you've tried to get Chris to sing this. It's not happening, but unfortunately, one day, if we get to episode 50, I think you will sing.
Okay.
Or if we get a video with 30 comments and questions, Chris Hay will sing the Kick It in the Goal song while dancing for you. Does that sound like a fair thing? Think of the channel, man. Think of the channel.
Okay.
Or we could get the Battle Hammer to sing it for us this weekend.
Yeah, we'll get them to do it. They're idiots already.
Cheers for the question, and we'll look forward to seeing you this weekend.
Next question.
You're going down as well. We've got a grudge match this weekend.
We have, yeah.
Battle Hammer versus Guildballing.
And we're not doing an 11 on 11.
I'll tell you what, should we show the thing? Because by the time this goes out...
Yeah, okay. You can go get it. I'll do the next question from Steve.
No, hold on.
Okay, well, great viewing here. Like my t-shirt.
It's rage. No, I'm going to have to do this here.
Pink. Get up close. There you go.
Hi. So, Guildballing Farmer and the Battle Hammer have got a bit of a grudge match this weekend. And I hope to God we win, because they don't know about this, but we've bought this, which is a hammer. And it says...
Get up close.
You got battle hammered by Guildballing Farmer. So when, not if, we beat them into a pulp 12-0, we're going to give them this hammer, and we want to see it on show at all times in their little studio as proof that we hammered them. So there we go.
What happens if we don't win?
We destroy the hammer and hide.
We don't talk about it. Okay.
So yeah, cheers for the question, and we'll see you today.
Next question is from Steve Newton from WCWW. If you could play a game with one celebrity, a game of Guild Ball with one celebrity, and then he slagged you off about regurgitating old...
Just read it.
Who's your favourite Guild Ball Informer host? Come on your show and regurgitate old questions, will you? That'll teach you. Oh, and when is Purcell coming back on?
We like
He's dreamy. Will engineers win Skaldic? If not, why not? And if yes, don't be daft.
Right, first one. If you could play Guild Ball with any celebrity, who would it be? Hang on, we've got a guest host for this question and this question only. Come on. Introduce yourself to the camera.
I'm Chris.
This is Chris from Steamforged. He's coming having a nose. So, you could play Guild Ball with any celebrity, who would it be?
Does this have to be an appropriate answer?
No. Well,
go for you.
Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with him, to be fair. What's Chris Hayes' answer for that one?
I have no idea.
That's alright. What was the second question?
Who would you?
Oh, me.
Same again. Before
Who
that
did I
one
say? Who did I
finished.
say? On Who Cares Who Wins?
Steve Newton.
Yeah, Brickcon winner 2015, Steve Newton. And
There you
then
go.
second question.
Who was your favourite Guildballing former host?
I don't know who informs it.
You know,
Oh.
we are massively supported by Steam Forge, ladies.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. We know everything that goes on
Come
here.
on, me or him?
Heads or tails?
No, you got to call it. Come on, you're on camera.
Chris, because I have the same name as him.
Okay. Chris, who's yours?
Chris.
Mine's Chris. So Chris wins 3-0. And what was the last one?
When is who will the engineers win Skaldic? There's another
No.
question later.
No,
Who do you think will win?
I don't
On
care.
day one?
I don't want engineers to win Skaldic.
Because you want to play.
I
want
want to win.
You want to win
with
the
this
bounty.
Yeah.
If someone decent learns to play with him, they might.
Controversial.
Ooh, any of those engineer players out there.
Who do I reckon's going to win Skaldic?
There's going to be. So, well, you tell us. Do you know how many?
I don't know the
engineers?
spread.
You said 8.
There's about 8 engineers, I think.
There'll be
out
about a
of the 30
quarter of
odd.
the field will
Yeah.
be engineers. So.
I think it's going to be, and this is controversial, Masons. And I don't actually know who's bringing Masons or why. I just think the more you look at tournaments, Masons are getting progressively better because people are investing more time in what they do, which has changed the fundamentals of the game. So I've got a bit of money on Masons, and other than that, I think Fish.
I think Union are going to win
Really?
because they're broken. Still.
Okay. And what was the last one?
Um,
From Steve Newton, winner of BritCon
that was
2015.
it. When's Purcell coming back?
Purcell.
That's just a reference to my dungeon video.
Oh, your
It's the
sex
last-
dungeon,
yeah,
the kind
the-
of Purcell.
the
bit I
vlog I
did. Yeah,
did.
we're going to move over that quickly. So, cheers for the question, Steve. And next up, we've got.
Your favourite?
You staying around? You getting involved?
I don't know. What's the next
Get a
bit?
chair.
So, next question is. Do you know what? Yeah, you can carry out the rest of this Q&A with us.
All right.
Next question is from George Perkins. Have you seen his engineers on the Facebook page?
I
They are
have,
good.
yeah.
George will be down in a couple of hours actually for some games. Are you buying metal or resin versions of the players, and also what brands of paint do you use? Let's start with you because I know you do a bit of painting.
I just generally use Citadel.
Yep.
Consistently for them is pretty good.
Yep.
And most people should be able to use them because everybody starts with that company
Yeah.
that produces them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
Chris?
I still have my box from about 10 years ago when I first played Fantasy and just put it in a cupboard, so I've still got loads of old,
Yeah,
the
I'm
old
sitting
Games
down as
Workshop
well.
stuff. So
Regarding Steamforge models, metal or resin?
up until this point, the only resin I have is Minx. Every other model I have is metal. However, I've just painted your
you
resin
brought it?
chisel, which I've brought, yeah.
Yes.
And that's kind of changed my view now. I think, apart from models that have a big sticky out pointy bit,
Yep.
I'll probably go resin
Resin.
going forward.
Resin for
Especially
me,
for the
it
big
really
models
is.
like Brick and Fangtooth from PB.
Yeah.
The
I painted a resin bone saw. That was much.
Oh, you're just
much
bragging
Oh, yeah.
now.
This is why
He's
it's come
just
on.
bragging because none of us have
Just
seen
drop
it.
You must have
Yeah.
watched it. It's on Twitter.
Yeah, we've seen.
Not in the flesh though.
Oh,
Was
right.
that,
Um,
did you paint that for Jamie?
This is
Okay, this
Jamie
is-
P's personal painter.
So this is Jamie's version of me for you.
It is, yeah.
Jamie's painting.
Well,
car.
the most important people don't paint their own stuff. We don't have time, you know what I mean? So, cheers to the
thanks for
questions,
the question.
George.
It's when they have to do paint by numbers. That's
That is true. So next up we've got Phil. It's Phil now, isn't it? Who's always Guildball tonight.
Yeah, Phil.
So hello, Phil, and he says, which are you more likely to do? Use Guildball minis as proxies in another game, or another game's minis as proxies in Guildball? Well, for me personally, I have all the Guildball models, so I wouldn't tend to proxy. I have actually thought about
Are there any
proxy.
that you don't like though that you would
Any Guildball models
that you don't like that you would be tempted to use? The couple of ones I don't like. I don't like Brick. I don't like the sculpt for Brick or Flint at all. Although I have them, so I'd be tempted to use other models for that. The only this isn't a spoiler. I think people know that Corsair is Fisherman's next captain. We've seen the art for it.
Yep.
So I've done a proxy Corsair if I ever get the chance to play Season 2 Wolves with him before the model comes out, and I've just used the Games Workshop. I can't remember what the model is now. It's a Dark Elf.
Have I seen this?
I think you've seen
probably
it.
a dark elf course.
Yeah, it's a Dark
Yeah.
Elf like
I've seen you-
Corsair,
I've seen your
and he's got
Fangtooth
like
with
like
the crack in
a
it.
hair, and he's
That's
got a wooden leg
nice.
and a big spear thing. So
But no, I probably wouldn't proxy because I'm as a lot of people know, I'm not massively into painting or converting models, so I tend to just use the model as is. But there are a few models I'm not fond of in the Guildball range, but that's a whole different question.
would the models, Guildball models, suit any other game system you can think of? Because They're all quite dynamic.
Do you know what I was
poses
like? Do you know what I was thinking about the other day? Not that I ever intend on playing it. Making a Frostgrave Warband out of just Guildball.
Yeah.
Now, Silence
I'm
will be
gonna
my
review it
wizard.
later.
Are you gone?
Bye, Chris.
Thank you, Chris, for getting involved in the show.
He'll get in trouble because he is actually working.
I can't really take part in that bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
did
true.
think
Yeah.
about that. Yeah.
Silence. Yeah,
Guild War
I was
models,
thinking
like-
about a Frostgrave Warband made out of Guild Ball models, and I was looking at Silence as my wizard because he is a wizard.
Okay.
Uh,
So Frostgrave, is that like?
It's basically
skirmish
yeah.
sort of
It's
fantasy?
you build a warband and you have a wizard and an apprentice, and then you can hire like thieves and barbarians
Cool.
and you know different style like models. And I was thinking, Snakeskin would make a cool thief.
Yeah.
Thief.
Yeah.
Snakeskin will make a really cool thief model, and as your barbarian, you're going to look at boar. Maybe with a bit of conversion work just to make him a
that'd be
bit
cool,
more
so he's not-
fantasy.
yeah.
Silence would be my wizard. Who could be like an apprentice wizard?
Siren.
Siren or
If
someone like do
if
you know who'd
take
be
off,
cool?
If you take off her hands and put them as like proper hands and not holding
like-
a spear.
Is it Kickstarter Midas that stood?
Yeah.
That'd be very cool. Or like Calculus, do you know, with all the
Yeah, you
the
can have
things.
Mercury and
Yeah.
Calculus.
No, you can
Mercury
take
as
you can take little basically warhounds in Frostgrave, but I just use Flask.
like 6 different flags.
Scum,
all
and-
different
yeah.
colours. You can have all the mascots.
But I will probably never do that. It was just
No,
something I was
yeah.
thinking about because I'm a bit of a Guild Ball addict. So
Next question.
yeah, cheers for the question, Phil. Next up, we've got next?
Another one from Chris Rutter, friend of the show.
hello, friend of the show, Chris Rutter.
And all he wants to know is, again, these are all inside jokes.
Yeah,
He says,
I know.
have you mentioned me yet? So,
Yes, we have.
You were on the latest podcast with them, weren't you?
Yeah,
You've
so
not
I
watched
was
it?
on the last episode of Who Cares Who Wins, and
Episode 7, I think it was.
probably, yeah, go and check it out on iTunes and other things. Me and Chris basically struck a bit of a deal where he's after a Kickstarter Ox.
Okay.
And I have a Kickstarter Ox in my possession. And I've promised him that if he watches and comments on every video for a month, then he can have it.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is basically him.
Him just commenting
And it was
for a
funny
free
because
Ox.
while we were recording, we were sat there and my YouTube was going crazy.
Ping, ping,
And he figured he had to go back through old videos and he was just commenting on them all. But the bet stands, Chris Rutter, and at the moment you have been mentioned, so you are still in. So cheers to the question.
I'll do the next one as well because that was quite short. This is from a local down here, Ellie. So, hi Ellie, thanks for the question again.
Ellie and Henry are both coming tomorrow.
So, and they were probably down last night, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
She's got 2 questions. What's our favourite mascot and why?
Okay.
And if you could swap a mascot into a different team, which one and why? So do the first one. Who's your favourite mascot?
We're going to answer this in 2 ways. We're going to answer it as in looks
Yeah.
and as in in-game. So in-game it is coin.
Yeah.
What's yours in-game?
Yeah, coin.
It's coin.
Yeah, we're not gonna-
the t-shirt. Yeah, in-game it is coin. Giving out bag of coffers. which-
Although I have recently been playing a little bit of Masons, and I think marbles,
Marbles is
just for
very
the
good.
tooled up, is insane.
Yeah.
But the thing that I like about coin the most is that literally all game I don't give him any influence at all, and he gives out influence and bonus time to other people.
Yeah.
So whereas with marbles you have to at least give him 1 to tool someone up. So him, and with his coins 2-inch melee, you can literally just have him following people around, adding another dice from ganging up,
Yeah.
from engaging stuff. So he literally, for nothing, he can have a massive impact on your team.
True.
Um,
The other thing is, if we're thinking about very good mascots, I mean, we can't forget about Salt, right? Because Salt's incredible.
I think Salt's well underrated. I think people just are using Salt wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think you're
you're just not good enough.
yeah. So,
That's going to be controversial. Okay, and then best as in like fun or looks wise.
for me, and this isn't totally down to looks, but it's down to how they've done the rules. Is Scum. I think it's
Scum's
amazing
great.
with
You're
unpredictable
probably
movement
right, yeah.
and shadow-like. It's so like a cat. You literally can't get near it because
Yeah.
it just runs away all the time. I
Yeah.
think that's awesome.
Scum is a very good shout. Do you know who else I like as well?
Who?
Strongbox.
Who?
We've seen the concept art, haven't we?
Have
Do you know the turtle with the treasure chest?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's out there. I can
Okay.
say that.
I'm always a bit unsure on these ones.
I thought
What
about it in advance.
What about the pig? We've seen
Truffle.
the pig. We've seen
yeah,
truffles.
there we go. Actually,
There
yeah.
you go,
New
truffles.
answer. Truffles, as revealed
By
on the
you
Guildballing
earlier.
Format YouTube channel, and then 3 minutes later, some people on
else.
Facebook stole it and posted it, so no one had to watch the video. You scallywags. But-
Truffles.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. I'm going with Truffles.
So who would you have in a different team if you could have? I mean, we mentioned Coin. Coin would be amazing in any team.
Coin
but
would-
excluding Coin.
Oh, so
Who do you play?
So let's pick our main team. What's your main? All right, your main team's Union. What's your other main team at the moment?
Masons.
So who would you put in for marbles? If marbles had to go, who would it be?
And I can't use coin.
Nope. Let's take coin out of this because I think coin will usually be the answer.
Just good viewing. Flask maybe.
Yeah, we've got free cover.
Just the cover I think would be really good, and
Masons, high
or
armor plus
mainspring for just blowing up shenanigans.
The thing is, mainspring's no good unless you've got creation. Yeah. I think for me, if I couldn't take coin, and we're going to talk about my alchemists. Oh no,
I've got one. Dirge for me.
I was about to say Dirge. Now I look like I'm copying.
Dirge, amazing. The -4 momentum is brilliant.
I was going to talk about my alchemists,
Yep.
and I was going to say and purely because of its 8-10 movement as well. Like
so fast.
The amount of games I've just give the ball to Dirge and watch people chase him up and down the pitch is brilliant.
That'd be so cool.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to go with Dirge,
we'll
if not
Dirge.
coin.
Yeah.
Cool. So thanks for the questions, Ellie. Much appreciated. And next we have James White. Just to correct the 1066 club reference, this is Hastings Wargamers, isn't it?
Yeah, so I mentioned these in the last Q&A, and just I'd been in discussions with Hasbex on Facebook, so I just gave a shout out to them, and I think I just referred to their Guild Ball group down there, and just saying that they had 20 members. And I think he was saying that they have a lot more members than that.
Yep.
They play a lot of different games, and they've got 20 Guild Balls.
So what he said is, he said we have about 20 Guild Ball players, but we have a lot more members. Most nights we see 50 players on 20 to 25 games. That's
amazing.
Mega.
That's massive.
That's like the games night here, really, isn't it? And this is a big place. So that I would like to see. Try and hold a tournament, and if we can, we'll come down.
Yeah, well they have. They've one that's sold out now, but down in Hastings.
Okay, try and hold a tournament we can get a ticket for.
But next one we'll try and get down. That'll be fantastic.
Yeah. Okay. Next up.
Next one is actually from me, but it's.
Sorry about this level of amateur.
Mid Sussex Wargamers.
Sam Page.
This Sam
coming
Page.
this weekend.
Best season 2 player so far from Sam.
So far we have 4. We have Tenderizer, Sakana, Chisel, Compound.
Yes. I'm gonna be really controversial here.
Go on.
I'm gonna say Sakana.
Ooh.
Because I've not played with him yet, but I've played against him, and the free counter attack every turn in the game I played against Andy down across at Doncaster.
The grid. Yep.
He's coming tomorrow as
Brad's
well.
No, Brad's not coming anymore.
Brad's not.
Can't make it. He's had to.
Andy is.
Okay.
And Sakana was a right pain, just holding the ball early in the turn, and I just, even without momentum, he could counter-attack and tackle me straight back with a 2-inch melee.
Yeah.
He does a bit extra damage for the fish, so
he's got a little bit of momentous damage.
I think
he's got the 8-inch kick as well, which is incredible.
And where'd they go? Or is it? No, it's not where they go. He's got that.
Is it the cover?
Yeah, the
Shadow of Darkness, is it?
Cover.
Something like that. Yeah, Sakana's a good player.
I know what you're going to say.
You think I'm going to say Compound?
Yeah.
The thing is, I don't feel fully versed to answer this yet, because as much as I love Compound, I've only used him once, and I would be tempted to answer Chisel to this question, but again, I've not used it. It's all down to theory crafting, and
I love Chisel so much.
Chisel really good? I think Chris just got a little bit overexcited.
I'm trying not to. I'm trying to dampen down expectations.
She's so good,
because I think I'm playing Masons one of the days this weekend. And I know Nobby Ollie has played quite a lot. I've seen him playing quite a lot with her.
Is he coming
on Battle? Weekend? I don't think so. She is good. I think it takes a while to get to. She's so squishy, like Cosset.
Yeah.
But if you can set things up properly,
it's she's a better glass hammer than
tower,
Cosset.
with brick, with mallets.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. If you can stand sort of brick 4 inches away from her, if anybody goes in and tries to engage and attack her, brick gets his free charge to knock them down. And then, with tower with his heroic. There you can just anybody that tries to hit Chisel, it damages tower, and then if you've put her sadism up. If they're damaging someone else, or if Tower's damaging someone else, she heals. It's amazing. It's nice, but it takes a lot of setup.
Yeah,
she's still
as does everything with the Masons. Though. That's what they're about. They're about really well orchestrated plays, like manipulating game turns, or like you say, making one person just a wrecking ball.
Well, and with
What's the damage output like? I mean, you read the card and you go, yeah, you're good, especially with the crazy and the rising anger and stuff like that. Is it good?
Yeah, it's similar to Mallet. You're getting to sort of Mallet standards on the charge with a wrap. So yeah, you're doing 5, 6, 7 damage.
Tooled up for marbles.
Yeah, on the charge. And double activating.
Yeah.
You can activate it twice to get an early first turn. Anyway, so yeah, now I've said Sakana. It's probably not Sakana. Okay,
yeah,
thanks for the question.
I reckon Chisel, but I'm hoping lots of people bring it this weekend. So
and I think there'll be a lot of compound. Hopefully, we'll see some engineers.
George is bringing compound.
So I'd like to see that today, tomorrow, to see how that works.
So yeah, good stuff. Cheers for the question, Sam. And next up is from... Who's this from?
It's from me. I've posted this question because one of my friends, my Malifaux friends, James, doesn't have a YouTube account.
Okay, so the question is, hello James, please create a YouTube account and get involved. We'd love to see you asking a question every week. So he says, from a Malifaux mate with no YouTube account. Really? Oh, you've put...
Yeah.
Okay.
Number one.
What are your thoughts on larger games? Would an 11 versus 11 on a bigger pitch work? Battlehammer are the experts on this one. Those guys have just done another one. Have you seen that this week? That's been posted up. What do you think of it?
It's long.
I don't think it's long. It is long, and I like to talk and waffle. So when I'm not on a clock, my 6x6 games are long. So an 11 versus 11
from a purely playing point of view, I think everything just gets a bit congested and everything just starts hitting stuff.
I mean, they had a good idea of how they did it to sort of avoid ridiculousness. So you take a captain and a mascot, and then a team of 6 from one guild, and then the other 5 players are from one other guild, and it's no captain or mascot.
Okay.
So I think they had like the butchers line up with everyone bar Midas and Flask from the alchemists, and then what they did is the butcher's pool of influence could only be on butchers, and the alchemist pool of influence could only be on alchemists.
So you couldn't.
You couldn't just go, power. Load 5 of the best players in the game up with influence. So your alchemist pool and your butcher's pool, even though they were your players,
you still got the caps though, haven't you? I guess.
You do.
So you can't.
And things like 2 captains and stuff would be crazy. I've never tried it. We could probably try it one day, but I think we've got a lot of other stuff we want to do.
Yeah, and like they said, I think maybe with that number of players, a bigger pitch, but then again, it just gets a bit excessive. The rules, because what I like about 6v6 is there is still space on the pitch to run about.
Yeah,
as soon as you put 22 players,
you can build a wall. You can literally build a wall.
And then so it puts players like Vitriol and Mist and stuff completely out of the game for me. So
go and check out the Battlehammer on YouTube. They've done it. They've done 2 now, so that's worth watching. And then question 2 is, if you were out to win the bounty on the Engineers Guilds, how would you go about it?
Okay.
Interesting. Chris Hayford.
So I would go down the dirty union fighty route, I think.
So Rage and Gutter.
So I would my 8. I think I would have the core engineers drop Ratchet for compound, and then put Rage and Gutter as my 8. And then most games I would go Rage Gutter, drop Velocity and Colossus, and just try and kill stuff.
Oh, I like Colossus, especially now.
But yeah, I would love to see a footballing engineers.
That's the way I've always played them. I've been saying for a long time, I'm an engineers player. They have been away from me for a couple of months. They're being worked on as we
getting painted as we speak.
Yes, in Brazil Painting Studios. But anyway, and I always played them in a more football. I mean, I can see the Rage Gutter thing. It works very well. And Steve Newton did it to good effect at the Guild Cup here a couple of months ago.
Came second,
beaten by his son. And then when he got home, his son was beaten by his dad.
We haven't seen him since.
So we are worried about him. Jack, if you're out there, please let us know he's safe. But no, and he used the engineers, and to very good effect. And a lot of that, I think, was Rage and Gutter.
I think the other thing to think about is on the clock. You'll be on the clock in a tournament, and it tends to be football playing teams. You need a lot of sort of time measuring. And
unless you're extremely fluent with those 6 players, but no, I do, and I probably will still take Velocity Colossus. Colossus being used, he's got close control, which is handy, but being used, because he has that ridiculously early knockdown, being used the way you're seeing Gast used and Fangtooth do, which is go and engage 3 players. If they try and leave, counter and knock them down.
Yeah, that's.
And I would use him as a big. And Velocity is fast with close control and can nimble up to defense 6. And exactly. So I'm gonna try, and it may change when I get them back and I play more. But I'm gonna go a bit more down the football route.
So will you have Ratchet in?
We've seen Hoist as well. Hoist was being used at the Guild Cup. That was interesting.
And we've seen the artwork for Pinvice.
That went up on Tuesday.
So,
but watching Hoist being played, that was very...
how did he play?
Well,
did he play?
He's got True Replicate.
Was this? This was Rich.
Yeah, Rich Loxon was
playing them on the bottom table.
Rich
Loxon. Season 2 stuff.
Yeah. Rich Loxon was the ringer for the Guild Cup. Was it 2 months ago now? Something like that. And he used Hoist for the weekend. Obviously, no doubt still in a playtest stage, but Hoist had True Replicate, which is because you can then have Velocity and Hoist effectively attacking the wings of a pitch. And Velocity can go to very high defence with close control. Hoist, you could True Replicate where they go. And suddenly you've got two very cool threats on goal. So that's how I intend on playing my engineers.
And Ratchet. What's your views on Ratchet?
Ratchet,
I think he's got some really cool rules.
Ratchet is brilliant.
Like long bomb.
Long bomb's great, but I think I've used it once. It's very situational.
Maybe with Hoist and Velocity.
Ratchet is amazing because of mainspring, and mainspring is amazing because of Ratchet, which is basically reanimate, overclock. And you're basically throwing a 3 damage bomb at everything.
And I think that's the way to take people like Hemlock down.
Yeah, well,
forget about hitting.
I played Lord Ian Marley a couple of weeks ago on Vassal, and he beat me pretty much single-handedly with mainspring. Like that's it. It was just like trickle damage over onto Hemlock and stuff like that. It was obscene. And what was an interesting one I seen? Flurry mainspring. Do a flurry that will from salvo that will hit mainspring.
What does he? Oh yeah,
flurry does 2 damage and 2. So you do 2 damage to everyone, and then because mainspring blows up, you do another 3 to everyone.
That's cool. 5 damage.
Yeah. So engineers are for winners. I do think there's a lot more to be said down the footballing route than.
And do you think if they win the Skaldic this weekend that people will suddenly drop them again, or do you now the bounty's gone, or do you think people will have fallen in love with them?
We've seen a massive
increase.
I think people will fall in love with them because I splurged and got most of the teams, and like most people at the time, I wasn't a massive fan of the aesthetic, but it has grown on me. But I bought them not being a fan of the aesthetic, which I know is a reason a lot of people maybe haven't invested in them. But in using them, they were so much fun. And I remember in the early days, me and Jamie Giblin learnt the game together. We'd play after work and stuff, and we'd try different teams. And I started using the engineers, and I was like, these are the team for me. It was just fun. So I'm going to be a footballing engineers player. But that's the thing, with the Union, you have the opportunity to have 2 very different builds doing very different things. And like you said, the Killy build is great as well because you've got Ballista, who can just shoot and knock people down, and then Gutter can go and do what Gutter does. Yep. So they are very good. So I know I joke saying I don't want anyone to win, but I hope they do win this weekend. No, I do a little bit because I love the engineers. I've got a soft spot for them, and I'd like to see them do.
Because you're too rich. Go on that 100 quid.
I wish I was too rich.
Okay,
so thank you for the question.
Next one is from the other one of the Battlehammer. Parker, Vitruvian Goblin. Mm-hmm. Another great show, guys. Looks like Chris is trying to oust Jay and take over.
Try it.
For one,
he's on his 3-month probation. He won't get away with this. We'll bring it up in his review.
He said he would like to see a more polished match report.
Yep. Okay.
And that him and Straw are the ruffians who put out little regard for tactical advice or editorial flair. It'd be nice to see you as the respectable face of the game.
Can we really be a respectable
face of anything? And they can be the seedy
anything?
underbelly who swear and make poop jokes. Question of the week. Now that there are 2 goalkeepers with possibilities for Corsair and MASH, could you see a Union goalkeeper? I ask because that could give a possibility to have players, perhaps 2 keepers on a team, if the Union goalkeeper can play for other teams, almost shutting down any chances of scoring and some play styles altogether.
I don't think we will see
a Union keeper.
That may happen, unlikely as it is. I definitely don't think we'll see a team with 2 goalkeepers with goalkeeper style abilities like your rush keeper and your...
So I think if they did do a Union goalkeeper, it would maybe have a new selective where it can only play for Union.
Yeah, so or the teams that don't have a goalkeeper, so potentially everybody has some sort of option to one.
Yeah, that's true.
So the teams that don't get one naturally will get one through Union. I think 2 would be ridiculous, but we don't know what these wonderful, wonderful people at Steamforge have got planned. They keep surprising us with rules and crazy stuff.
As a Union player, I don't want a goalkeeper. I don't like goalkeepers. I want all my players up in your face. I don't want to have anybody still at the back. That's just not how I play anyway, and how I see them play. I think it'd be quite nice to keep, like we've mentioned before. I don't want every team to get too generic. And everyone have the same options. It would be nice for teams not to have a goalkeeper, just to mix things up a bit. So
yeah.
And there was a final bit to the question about Union. Could you see a time when Union may not have the availability of certain options so as to prevent a larger imbalance? So I think that just,
as always,
what I've said.
Kick it in the goal.
Kick it in the goal.
Chris has pretty much just covered that. He's said everything I would have said, to be honest. In Guildball we trust, but I don't think we're going to see 2 goalkeepers. That's not going to happen. Regarding time when Union are not going to have a certain amount.
So maybe there might be something lacking in Union teams to prevent other teams being too strong, being able to use those Union players. I think they've done a pretty good job so far with the balance of the game, so hopefully that will continue, and that it won't mean, from a personal point of view as a Union player, I hope that doesn't mean that they limit what Union get and what Union can do to the detriment of other teams. But
yeah, I mean, you've got to bear in mind as well, if you look at what we know is going to be the Season 2 releases, which is a new player, a new captain, a new mascot, and a veteran player, eventually these new guilds are going to... They're going to have what you want within the guild, and you will start. I think you will naturally start to see the Union as another team and not a pool
I think
of
that's
guns
what
to
I was
hire.
going to say. I think initially in early seasons, the Union were to bridge a gap.
Yeah, because isn't there 11 of them?
Yeah.
So in season 1 we have 6 or 7 players. Yeah, 11. This team of 11 that can also go and draft out. It was bound to be a little bit more extreme how much you've seen them in season 1. But I think it will come down now into season 2.
And from what I've seen of the season 2 players coming into teams, they do seem to replace the Union alternatives at the moment. So I think that's only a good thing. It makes more pure teams, and hopefully by sort of season 3 time, there aren't really any Union players.
Imagine it when you've got a guild of 12
20.
or 14 players,
Yeah.
and I'm living in a cardboard box
That'd
because
be
I've
so
spent
good.
all my money on toys. Anyway,
Thanks
cheers
for
for the question. And next up, we've got Hotgates Gaming.
Hey,
That is
James is new.
James Clark of GBHL Podcast and now Hotgate Gaming's new channel. And I would advise you all who are watching to go and check out Hotgates Gaming on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and all the usual outlets and really get behind it. It's a new project and he does very good battle reports.
He does.
So they are worth watching.
And he has just done a Guild Ball one last night. So
He has, yeah. So check that one out. So he says, best content you've produced so far by a mile. Invite that handsome dude with a nice gem haircut back for sure.
Nice, I love that. Nice gem.
Johnny Bravo.
So yeah, it is. It is a bit Johnny.
We're always happy to have you back, bud, and we really appreciate you helping us out last week because life got a bit busy for me, my end, and you two managed to pull us out of the proverbial. Even though he left you, did he leave you stood in the rain
He
for 10
did
minutes?
leave me outside for 10 minutes because his alarm did go off. So, and I did knock on the door and ring the doorbell, but apparently he didn't hear it. It was only because his dog was
Bilbo Baggins
was trying to get some food that he realised that it was 20 to 10 and pissing it down with rain.
So he asks anyway, he says, what are the pros and cons of Meat Hook in a butcher's team? Why do we not see a lot of her currently, and how do you think she's best utilised? Hotgates Gaming, James. Well, thanks for the question, and the answer is...
I would say she has one influence, which is
Correct.
the main detriment.
Butchers are a naturally low influence team, especially when you start taking your boars and things. A lot of my butchers team are at 10, 11, 12, 11 and 12 influence for a turn.
I think that if she had 2 influence, if she was 2-4,
She'd be in
most teams. The synergy she can have with bleeding and with other models is
so
immense.
She's
and
got crucial
tooled
artery,
up.
so if she's got tooled up, which is another damage buff in a butcher's team. She causes bleed when she does damage, and she goes, yes. Meat Hook's being heckled from behind the camera, and she's at +1 damage once someone's bleeding, so she
and
hits,
+1 tackling
causes
as well.
bleed, and then she's at +1. She's very
And
good.
Boiler's got crucial artery as well, so if you send Boiler in first to make someone bleed, and then she goes in,
But, yeah, you can have a really good bleed team.
you can.
Yeah, I rate Meat Hook. I do think it is very much the bringing one influence to the pool.
She's fast as well, and she can play football.
Yep,
She's
a very solid player.
She's really good.
She's a very solid player.
But you don't see it, and I think it
is the influence because butchers struggle with that.
And I think they're a problem of their own success, really, is that all the other team members of the team are really, really good in a Butcher's team.
Yep.
But it's who do you drop? It's not really, is she good enough? Because she is. It's just, if you're dropping Boar, or you're dropping Shank,
Yep.
or you're dropping Brisket,
Yep.
or you're dropping Boiler, they all offer something else. And damage, she does a hell of a lot of damage, but so does everybody else in the Boiler team. So.
Again, I like her, and if she was too influenced, she would probably be in all my teams. But it is just, as much as some players are better than others, sometimes you have to make sacrifices to ensure you have enough influence to do what you need to do.
Yeah,
That's what it is for me.
When I try and play Butchers next year at some point, I'm going to have her in most of my teams.
Yep. She's very
I
good.
really like her.
Cool. So, cheers for the question, James, and thanks as always for the support. And next up, we've got the other half of GBHL podcast, which is Jamie Giblin, who is co-host for the Skaldic Shield this weekend. And welcome back, guys. We've had to cut there because some stupid idiot forgot to delete some of the footage from the camera, so the memory was full. And we did re-record it, but I'm guessing again we didn't delete enough. It doesn't seem to have come recorded right. So luckily it's just the last question, so you're stuck with my mug for the last question only, and then we can wrap up the show. And the last question comes from the great Jamie Giblin, who was my fellow TO at the Skaldic Shield weekend just gone. At the time I'm recording this, obviously the main part of the Q&A was recorded before, so cheers for all your help, bud. I think we had another successful event. And also check him out on the GBHL podcast. And he says, gutter seems to be the answer to most problems in Guildball. Fair comment. Do you think she remains a little bit too good, even with her changes? For me, it stems from the relatively easy access to Scything Blow. If the position of Scything Blow and Chain Grabber were replaced on a playbook, do you think she would see less use? If Scything Blow and Chain Grab were replaced on her playbook, which are on 4 and 5 hits respectively, I think yes, you would see less of that. It's being able to get it at 4 hits with tack 5 before commanding auras and crowding outs and knockdown and stuff. She can get good access to it. Is she a little bit too good even with her changes? Honestly, a little bit for me. She is very top end of the curve. Gutter is now, I mean, it used to be Mist, not so much anymore. And Decimate was also in this bracket. I would class like Mist and Decimate and Gutter as the 3 players who were effectively auto-includes. If they could play for your team, they were always in your starting 6 if you were building sort of the best built team. Gutter is still in that bracket for me. Yeah, it's good they took the damage off Chain Grab. That was very obvious. It could also be quite abused situationally as well, like Minefield and things. And obviously, when Gutter's playing for the Butchers and being able to do 2 and 3 damage because of Oxy's buffs with a Chain Grab, yeah, that really needed changing. It is a bit of a board control and movement ability, so the damage going off that was really good. And the fact that she's lost Life Drink has gone down from 2 health to 1, another very good change. I arguably think she'd still be amazing if you got rid of that rule. So now at least she can only heal like up to 8 per turn, which is good. But it especially back in the old days, it was always very much if you don't kill her in an activation, she will just heal back to full health. People wouldn't always throw Gutter in first activation for that reason, because they'd know she's then sat there and likely get taken out. Gutter can be a massive pain when it comes to trying to take her out, and she can do so much. So, is she a bit too good? Yeah. She is very top end of the curve. Is she broken? No, not by any means, but yes, she is very, very, very good. And sometimes it can be frustrating because in the right hands, she can pretty much own a game. So cheers for the question, Jamie. Please, please, please ask one next week. And the last one is from Guildballing Informer, and this was actually me. And I posted, who is this imposter? And this imposter was in fact James of Hotgates Gaming. And if you guys haven't already, please look for Hotgates Gaming on YouTube. He's actually posted his first match report. Gotta get out of the habit of saying battle report. He's posted his first match report, which is his Butchers versus Quinn's Engineers. A bit of practice before Skaldic Shield. It's called Abattoir Away Days, which I think is a genius name. So go check him out. And thank you again for helping out last week, guys. So that is this week's Q&A. A bit of an appeal, guys. If you're watching this, please, please, please ask a question. We really want to keep this going. a lot of the questions this week we've sort of drummed up from the other media guys, like Who Cares Who Wins and the Battle Hammer, etc. And we really want you guys who are learning the game, who are playing the game, to get involved. And it's not just about asking questions. Let's start discussions about certain parts of Guild Ball you want. You can ask me you can ask us anything non-Guild Ball if you want. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. Today's my first day off after Skaldic Shield. I went straight back into 12-hour shifts, so it's a bit of a rest for me today. We're getting some videos out, so this week you're going to see our vlog from day 1 of the Skaldic Shield and some other stuff too. So as always, guys, please comment, like, share and subscribe, and please get involved in this video. Stick your questions in the comments, and hopefully next week's will be a good one, and it will definitely be me and Chris next week. So we look forward to hearing from you, and happy Guild Balling.